Our second scenario is called the unexpected hardship. Imagine a small business owner. Let's call her Maria. Maria's business was thriving, but then a sudden economic downturn hits, impacting her revenue significantly. She finds herself unable to pay her taxes on time. Unfortunately, overwhelmed and fearful, Maria avoids contacting the IRS, hoping the problem will magically disappear. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Sam, what resources are available for taxpayers like Maria facing financial hardship?
The IRS actually offers several options for those struggling to pay. First, there are short-term payment plans for up to 180 days, which can give taxpayers some breathing room to gather the necessary funds. Then there are offer in compromise (OIC) programs, where the IRS might accept less than the full amount owed if the taxpayer demonstrates genuine inability to pay the full amount. Finally, there are also installment agreements allowing taxpayers to pay off their tax debt in manageable monthly payments.
So, if I understand correctly, even if you can't pay the full amount immediately, there are ways to work with the IRS to avoid some of the penalties that come with just ignoring the problem. This is a relief to hear. This reminds me of what we discussed earlier about how penalties accumulate quickly. Avoiding them in the first place seems like the best strategy.
Exactly, Taylor. And that's why proactive communication is so crucial. Sam, how can communicating with the IRS early on mitigate penalties in these difficult circumstances?
As Publication 17 explains, penalties for failure to pay are typically 0.5% of the unpaid taxes per month, up to a maximum of 25%. However, this rate is halved to 0.25% if an installment agreement is in place. By contacting the IRS early and setting up a payment plan, Maria could significantly reduce the penalties she accrues. Additionally, the IRS may be more willing to work with taxpayers who demonstrate a willingness to cooperate and address their tax obligations.
That makes perfect sense. It's like showing good faith. Even if you're struggling, showing you're trying to find a solution probably goes a long way. What if Maria is so overwhelmed that she doesn't even know where to start with contacting the IRS or understanding these options?
The IRS website is a good starting point. It has detailed information about payment options and instructions on how to apply. There are also taxpayer assistance centers across the country where individuals can get in-person help. Additionally, low-income taxpayers might qualify for free tax preparation assistance through programs like Volunteer Income Tax Assistance (VITA).
Great point, Sam. It's important to remember you're not alone in this. There are resources and people who can help you navigate these complex situations. So, to recap, if you anticipate difficulty paying your taxes, reaching out to the IRS proactively can significantly lessen the financial burden. There are payment plans, offers in compromise, and installment agreements available. And there are resources to help you understand these options and get the support you need. Remember our key takeaway. If you anticipate difficulty paying your taxes, contact the IRS immediately to explore payment options and avoid further penalties. Don't let fear or uncertainty make the problem worse. While we're on the subject of avoiding penalties, let's shift gears to discuss another common pitfall: accuracy-related penalties. This happens when errors on your tax return lead to an underpayment. Our next scenario looks at what happens when someone tries to take deductions they're not actually entitled to, with disastrous results.